Hit it, Logan.
It's After Hours with Mariah and Ty.
Your weekly download of their extracurricular activities. Powered by Adult Source. Goodies for grown-ups. 100% Canadian owned. Enjoy.
This week on After Hours with Mariah and Ty.
That's one of the dinosaurs in Jurassic Park. That's the one that had the neck fan that went like this, and it hissed and spat acid or poison or something like that. Well, there's been a couple really cool finds. The best thing that I personally have found is one of the dome-headed dinosaurs. So it kind of looks like we call them the dome heads. They're called pachycephalosaurs.
The plesiosaur, I want to say.
Oh yeah.
Because I feel like the Loch Ness monster, or the Ogopogo, however you want to call them, I feel like that's what those are. Wow, guys, we're back again. We're not on the set, and we're drinking an Exhale, Even Cowgirls, Get the Blues, maple syrup, and wattle seed Vienna lager.
I still work here, by the way, just in case anybody was wondering.
Logan's here, Sam's here, I'm here, and wow, thanks for the big slurp.
That was good.
Calling this a lager seems strange to me.
Well, it
Doesn't really taste like it.
No, not at all.
No.
You're not that guy, pal. Trust me.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
We have an interview. We're going to cut right to the interview, and then we'll come back and talk more in the next segment. But now it's time for Mariah and Ty's big interview.
Mariah and Ty's Big Interview.
It's Ty from X929 chatting with Dr. Caleb Brown of the Royal Tyrrell Museum of Paleontology, one of my favorite places on Earth. I went there, I think for my 30th birthday, and we camped out, not in the museum or anything, but just blew my mind. I was like, there's so much to see and do there. So congrats on celebrating 40 years of the Royal Tyrrell Museum.
Thanks. Yeah, it's really exciting to be at the museum for this anniversary. It's fitting for your 30th and our 40th, so it all works out.
Have you been there? How many years have you been at the museum?
I actually have a bit of a long history with the museum. I mean, I went there as a kid, as many people in Alberta who grew up in Alberta do. I was summer staff there for a couple of years in university, and then when I was a graduate student, I was there on and off as a researcher. But I came as an employee there, a research employee as a postdoc in December of 2014, and I've been there ever since, and now I'm one of the curators.
Wow. That is so cool, man. We are going to talk about the Back in Time silent disco in a bit here, but what I did, Dr. Caleb Brown, is I put it out on our social media channels. I said, we're going to talk to a paleontologist, and I feel like most people have dinosaur questions. I'm sure when you're at a party, you're a hit, and you get asked a ton of questions. So we are going to run some by you. Does that happen a lot to you? I feel like it would.
Yeah, I mean, you get a lot of questions. Often it's the same question over again, but often there's some really cool questions as well. So I'm curious to see what people have asked.
I get the same thing. Not nearly as cool, but they'll be like, do you pick the songs? Blah, 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 you know? But I feel like yours trumps my job. So you win. You win for the coolest job on this Zoom call right now.
Well, I won't disagree with you there.
This one's from Bethany, and she said, how can you tell the age of different fossils? I'm going to find all of these very interesting because I don't think I knew an answer to any of these. So,
yeah, so there's two things that Bethany could mean by age. She could mean geological age, in which case we look at the rocks. We can look at sometimes we can date the rocks directly by looking at their chemistry and look at the isotopes in the rock. We can also relatively age the rocks. We can look at what other animals or plants are alive at the time and correlate that with known aged rocks. If she's curious about aging the fossils in terms of how their biological age, how many years old was that animal before it died, sometimes we can do that by taking the bones and what's something called histology. Basically, we cut up some of the bones, we look at them under a microscope, we can basically count tree rings, bone layers just like tree rings, and we can see how many kind of seasons this animal has survived. It's a bit more complicated than that because as trees get bigger, they don't get hollow in the middle, but bones do. So you have to kind of do some math as well to figure out how old these animals are. But we can do a method like that, and we're learning a lot more about how rapidly these dinosaurs grew and how long they lived as well.
Wow. Okay, I would have never known that. Comparing it to trees, I feel like I know a bit of dinosaur stuff because I was like a dinosaur kid growing up, but This one's from Mason, and I just wanted to throw it in because it's funny. He said, "What's your favorite dinosaur, and why is it the Dilophosaurus?"
Dilophosaurus.
Yes.
It is not the Dilophosaurus. So Dilophosaurus, for those who don't know, that's one of the dinosaurs in Jurassic Park. That's the one that had the neck fan that went like this, and it hissed and spat acid or poison or something like that. It's also one of the earliest dinosaurs. My favorite dinosaurs are actually all Alberta dinosaurs, unlike Dilophosaurus, which is not from Alberta. My favorites would have to be some of the horned dinosaurs, so animals like Centrosaurus and Styracosaurus. These are kind of smaller versions of Triceratops, but they're more exciting because they have these weird frills that have horns that curve forward, or giant spikes that stick out from their frills. And we have a really good sample of them, and that's why I'm excited about them, because as a scientist, the bigger your sample, the more you can learn about these animals, the more you can learn how they lived and how they grew and how they evolved.
My follow up question, I guess, with the horned Triceratops creatures you just mentioned, is there a theory at all that those are just like a pre-evolutionary dated Triceratops, that they evolved into that or became that?
Well, yeah, I mean, every dinosaur we find is part of a lineage that is evolving. So sometimes we have an idea that this dinosaur here might have been an ancestral condition to that dinosaur there. It's really hard to prove in paleontology that one animal evolved into another animal. Often we describe their relationships in terms of kind of what we call sister taxa. So they're the most closely related to each other than everything else, but we don't know if one was kind of ancestral or descendant to the other. So, yeah, sometimes it's really hard to figure out those ideas.
Okay. This one's from Kelsey. You did mention Jurassic Park, so this is the only Jurassic Park question I'm going to throw in here for you. Do you get annoyed when watching the Jurassic Park movies since the dinosaurs aren't authentic looking, like to how you would probably assume they would look?
Yeah, first off, I mean, the first Jurassic Park movies were some of the best representations of dinosaurs out there, especially given the time. Back in the mid 90s, those were the best representations of dinosaurs in the world, in my opinion. So the more recent movies have kind of kept the same look, and that hasn't often adjusted with our changing science. We now know that many of these dinosaurs were feathered, and those aren't kind of portrayed. No, I can sit back and I can enjoy those movies as fiction, as a story, and as excitement. They're not meant to be documentaries. They're not meant to be accurate. They're meant to tell an exciting story, engage the audience, and take you on an adventure. And they're successful at that. And they're quite successful in getting people interested in paleontology, for which I think is a very good a good result of those movies. So I have no problem watching them.
I've always wondered that myself, how you would view those films, because like I have friends who are nurses, and they'll see like a hospital and they'll be like, "That's not what it's like." And I'm a radio host. If I see a radio station, I'll be like, "Let's see that equipment there. Let's see how they did." But hey, if you're able to step back, I think that's healthy. So I mean, it is fiction.
Yeah. I don't have to criticize it. I can just sit back and enjoy it and run with it. So it's less work too.
Yeah. Taryn said, how long can a dig take from proposal/exploration to completion? Also, do they still do the museum sleepover? Because that was a highlight from my childhood.
So digs can take a variety of time. The shortest digs can take a couple of minutes. If we're walking around doing what we call prospecting, so hiking around looking for fossils, if we see something that's just there and we can dig it out in a couple of minutes, we'll do that. And that's it. That's that dig for 5 minutes, 10 minutes. Some digs take a lot longer. We have had digs that we've worked for, I think, a decade and a half, more than that. There are sites called bone beds where we have skeletons of multiple individuals preserved in the same horizon. So basically, it's a herd of animals that all died together. And we can go back year after year after year and keep collecting from those sites and never exhaust them. So there are sites that we can just keep going back to over and over and over again. It really depends on the scale of these sites.
Wow. Mary says, what advice would you like to give students who want to become paleontologists in the future? It's funny, they're like the listeners gave like really good questions at times, and I was like, okay, well, let's see what we get. But no, that's a good one. So what advice would you give them?
So first off, paleontology is a very competitive field. There's a lot of people who are interested in it. There's a lot of students that get into paleontology. So the first bit of advice is that you're going to have to be good at competing with your friends for funding and for jobs someday. But in terms of practical advice, do all the sciences and maths you can early on, both in high school and in university. Volunteer as quickly and early as you can. I realize that not everybody is in a position where they can volunteer for a variety of reasons, but if you are able to, volunteer at a university, volunteer at a museum. It does two things. One, it gets you experience, it gets your foot in the door, you understand kind of how things work, and you get that practical experience. And two, it really helps you identify if you actually like doing this. A lot of people have this romantic idea of paleontology or other fields, and then they get into the nitty gritty of it, and they're like, oh, this isn't really for me. This is a lot of measuring, a lot of detail oriented stuff. So that would be my biggest advice: is if you can, try to volunteer as early as possible and get that experience.
We are talking to Dr. Caleb Brown of the Royal Tyrrell Museum of Paleontology, answering your questions that you submitted. Did you have to move around a lot for work? Like follow up to that? Like, did you have to move a lot? Because with radio, you have to go where the opportunities are. And I'm like, how many opportunities are there around Canada to go do these digs?
So I'm quite fortunate. I grew up in Red Deer, so I ended up like an hour and a half from where I grew up as a job. So that was good. I did have to move around a bit. I did a bachelor's and a master's degree at the University of Calgary, and then I did a PhD at the University of Toronto. And then I have done field work around the world. I've been to China, I've been to Mongolia, I've been to the Arctic, doing field work for various projects. But I'm quite fortunate in that I've basically come home to where I grew up to have a job. And that's quite rare in academia. Usually, yeah, you go where the jobs are and you have no control where the jobs are. So I count myself lucky in that regard.
Wow. So you've been all over the globe doing this. That's something I would have never really considered, which is just so cool, man. Did you have a favorite spot you got to go dig at?
Ooh, it's hard to choose a favorite. I think my favorite spot has to be one of the local spots. There's a place called Dinosaur Provincial Park, which is here in Alberta. It's just north of the town of Brooks. It is the best place in the world to find dinosaur bones. And anyone who is interested in dinosaurs who hasn't been there, you have to go there. They have all sorts of tours. You can go see dinosaur bones in the ground. I go there every year and collect, and I'll probably go there every year of my life as my career goes on. It's an ongoing resource. So that's probably my favorite place, even though it's so close.
I would say go to the Brooks Hotel after, get a sandwich there. They got a great sandwich there. Trust me, I worked there. I know. This one's from Victoria. What would have Alberta looked like when the dinos were around? Do we know if it was lush with plants, vegetation, or has it always been like the Badlands are today?
Great question. So yeah, people associate dinosaurs with the Badlands, and that's because that's one of the places that we find dinosaurs today. We find them in the Badlands. But Alberta looked a lot different back in the Cretaceous. So first off, it was a bit further north, but the world was much warmer. So it was very lush, very wet and warm, and there would have been a large inland seaway that ran from the Gulf of Mexico to the Arctic Ocean. So kind of running kind of along the western edge of Alberta. So we would have had kind of ocean view property there. It would have been a very flat, lush coastal plain. So there would have been a lot of vegetation for the plant-eating dinosaurs to eat, and then a lot of plant-eating dinosaurs for the meat-eating dinosaurs to eat. And then very different to how it is today. Kind of the best comparisons are things like kind of South Carolina in terms of climate analogs for what Alberta was like back in the Cretaceous.
This one's from Martina. It says, is there a gap in fossil knowledge from certain eras, like missing links / missing eras?
Yeah, the fossil record is mainly gaps. There are any number of gaps, both geological gaps, temporal gaps, geographical gaps. There are gaps in terms of environments. So some environments are more likely to preserve than others. There are certain times we have a very poor sample of, certain times we have really, really good samples of. So a lot of paleontology is trying to find where to fill in those gaps, but also trying to figure out how to deal with sampling issues. We're at the mercy of the fossil record. We can only learn about the fossils that we have, and the fossils that we have come with an inherent number of biases related to size, related to certain preservational environments, related to collector biases, and we need to figure out how to deal with those if we're going to get a real kind of true picture of past life. So that's one of the biggest challenges, dealing with those gaps for sure.
Q wrote in, when did you know this was the field you were going to dedicate your life to?
Good question.
Getting
I
personal.
think a lot of kids are really interested in dinosaurs. It's a common thing. I'm one of the lucky few who never kind of grew out of that phase. I was always interested in dinosaurs as a kid. When I got to university, I was really interested in natural history and biology. Uh, I remember growing up in the Badlands of Alberta and coming to the museum as a kid and going out and looking in the Badlands as a kid. So that was really important. But I think it was kind of at the university stage. I think I wanted to get into biology, maybe paleontology, and then taking some of those courses, learning about history of life and evolution, that really got me interested in the topic. And realizing that a lot of these iconic fossils, all these iconic dinosaurs that um, they're found here in Alberta, and we have this kind of unique resource on our doorstep. So that was kind of one of the final things that pushed me in terms of getting into that career.
And what are some of the your favorite discoveries that you've made yourself, or digs you've worked on where you were like, wow, I can't believe this, and it's like so thrilling.
Yeah. Well, there's been a couple of really cool finds. The best thing that I personally have found is one of the dome-headed dinosaurs. So it kind of looks like we call them the dome heads. They're called pachycephalosaurs. And the specimen I found at the time was the oldest known specimen of a pachycephalosaur from North America, possibly the world, and it was the what's called the holotype, the first name-bearing specimen of that new taxon. So that was quite exciting. But I've done some digs with the Tyrrell that have been amazing. We dug up a beautiful Triceratops back in 2015 and 16 in the foothills of Alberta in the fall, and that was really fun. It was a great group of people. It was an amazing fossil. That's now on display at the museum. It's one of the first fossils you see when you come in, and that's one of my favorite sites because it was so different. Usually you're used to digging in the Badlands. That was actually in the foothills, so it was an entirely different environment, but you're still digging up dinosaurs. So that's got to be one of my favorites too.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, what's your favorite fossil in the museum or museum section? Is it the Triceratops?
That's got to be one of them. There's also another horned dinosaur called Regaloceratops, which I was involved with naming. That's a really cool specimen. But the coolest ones are ones I can't actually talk about yet because we haven't published on them. We haven't announced them to the public. So stay tuned. There we do have some really cool specimens that will probably come out in the next couple of years, and those might top my favorites in terms of cool specimens.
Okay, okay.
A bit of a teaser there.
Sure, sure. Dr. Caleb Brown, what is a day to day in your life like? You know, because that's a question that I often get for radio because people can't picture it, they don't know, and I cannot place what you would do for your day to day. Like, I'm like, do you just go wander around in Drumheller and be like, all right, is there a dinosaur under my foot? Like, I have no idea. Is there dig sites? Like, do you answer emails? Do you have a cup of coffee? Like, what is a day to day like?
All of the above. So our field season is quite seasonal. We can't work in the winter very easily because the ground is frozen. We do sometimes have to do some winter field work, but it's not the most comfortable field work. So in the winter, in the summer, my day to day is a lot of outdoor work, doing what we call field work. That could be prospecting, so that's hiking, looking for new sites. And I should mention, none of this stuff is done by yourself. You're part of a team going out and walking around looking for stuff. You could go to a known site and dig that up further. We could actually end up collecting things. All of that stuff is planned out ahead of time because you have to go through all the permitting process. You have to figure out where you want to go when, and they have to apply for the appropriate permits. So it's not just kind of pick a day at random and go somewhere. You have to plan all these things ahead of time. In the non-summer months, a lot of my time is spent kind of doing kind of more laboratory data collection, measuring specimens, taking photographs, documenting specimens, writing them up for scientific publications, doing various analyses. That's the science side. Every job has other more kind of bureaucratic aspects as well. But that's kind of my favorite part is the discovery aspect, whether that's discovering new fossils in the field or whether it's discovering kind of relationships or new patterns or scientific discoveries back in the lab. That's what kind of really motivates me for the job.
Riley wrote in saying if you could bring back one extinct species with no ramifications, which one would it be?
Ooh, that is a good question. Oh, it might not be a dinosaur. It might be one of these things that we have a little bit of data of, but we don't really know what it looked like. Maybe some of the Burgess shale animals, just to see what those things actually look like and how they behave. Uh, um, yeah, that's a good question. Uh, I'll think about that a bit more. How's that sound?
Sure, Mine would be the. You can correct me if I'm saying it wrong. The plesiosaur, I want to say.
Oh, yeah.
Because
The
I
easiest
feel
one,
I feel like the Loch Ness monster, or the Ogopogo, however you want to call them, I feel like that's what those are,
yeah,
and
yeah,
I want them to exist. I want
yeah,
it to
yeah.
be real.
There you go. Yeah, there's definitely those kind of lake monster things are definitely have converged on what a plesiosaur looks like. Yeah, that's a good choice.
One other question I will ask you while we have your time here, Dr. Caleb Brown. What kind of music do you like? I just want to
Oh,
know, if you're out on a dig, what are you listening to? Or if you could, you might not be able to. You're probably listening to people working, or maybe you're driving to a dig. I don't know.
yeah. I mean, a lot of people will listen to music in the quarry. We actually just often just have conversations in the quarry, just kind of casual conversations, and they go off on weird tangents and stuff like that. So that's more often than listening to music. But each quarry is different, and different groups will have different um, musical preferences. There are a lot of crews that have strong musical preferences, and music is a big part of what they do. There's examples of dinosaurs being named after musicians and stuff like that. I'm not actually a humongous music fan. I'm much more on the talk side myself. If I had to choose, and this is going to be an embarrassing answer,
No,
so
there's no embarrassing answers.
oh, hang on. It would probably have to be Christmas music. I
Really?
like how that puts you in the seasonal mood for Christmas. So, how's that for a horrible answer for the music question?
We talked about Burl Ives the other week on the podcast here, so
There you
who
go.
knows? It's not a weird answer at all. I was saying to some people here at work, we do this event called One Weekend Only every year, where we go to Banff in the mountains and we have like a private show, a private concert. And I was saying, why don't we do one in the summer in Drumheller and take a bunch of listeners out there, have a show in the amphitheater, and then also have like a daytime tour of the Royal Tyrrell Museum. Like, people would go crazy for that, I think.
And I think you got a bit of an audience there that might be interested.
Yeah. So I mean, I'll reach out to your people, see what can happen. I actually have no power or pull here, but it's just something I've been saying. So you never
Neither
know.
do I. So we're in the same boat there.
Yeah. We just kind of go to work. And I don't know if you know about this. They did give me some info about it. The Royal Tyrrell Museum, October 18th, 2025. They're doing the Back in Time Silent Disco. So, which I understand is you're in the museum. You got your headphones on with 3 different stations you can switch to, and it's like a dance party with alcoholic or non-alcoholic cocktails, drinks, parties, fun music, and I think it would just be so wild to be in the museum after hours.
Yeah, you're exactly right. It's in the evening. It's after hours, so you can have exclusive access to the gallery for this event. It's 3 different live DJs that are all doing music from the 80s. And if people want to dress up in retro 80s gear as well, that is definitely encouraged. Our museum is 40 years old, so 1985, so right in the middle there. So that's why it's very much retro. I should mention that it is 18 plus, so it's adults only event as well. So if you want to go to the museum when there's no kids around, this is a great opportunity as well. You can do some dancing and actually attend the museum.
I will put a link for the tickets in the write up here. And I just want to say thank you so much for doing this. As I'm talking to you, I'm like, I should have had more questions or better questions. And I'm looking at how long we've actually been talking, and I'm like, we've gone over 20 minutes, and I think that's my time, Dr. Caleb Brown of the Royal Tyrrell Museum of Paleontology. Check it out. Go to the Back in Time Silent Disco. I think tickets are like $90, and it should just be an awesome event. And I got to get back down there myself and spend more time in the museum because I love it.
Well, thank you very much for having me.
After Hours.
Diving a little deeper into the world of Mariah and Ty.
And we're back. We had your questions answered by Dr. Caleb Brown of the Royal Tyrrell Museum.
I just can't even express how much more learned I feel after hearing that.
Learned, son.
Learned.
Learned, son.
I'm a learned individual.
It's pronounced learned.
Nuclear.
You guys getting excited for One Weekend Only? Our boss wants us to hype that up.
What is that?
Never heard of it.
No.
Well, it's this wild event where we go out to Banff in the mountains, and
Pitch
30 of us enter, and only one leaves alive.
Oh, no.
It's like that movie Battle Royale.
But it happens in Banff.
Yeah, it's like Squid Game, but it's
in Banff.
it's in Banff.
Squid Game does Banff.
Yeah. No, it's an event in Banff where we go out into the mountains, and there's like, I don't know, probably like 150 of us, and only one comes back alive.
But you do get a hotel stay.
You get a free hotel
and that's a big
stay.
sell. You might not be coming back alive, but it's a free hotel stay in Banff. I mean, come on.
Yeah, and we're going to see Ruby Waters. We're going to see Hotel Mira. We're going to have the X-Gala night one. What are you guys wearing? What are you guys going to wear to the
We're also
X-Gala?
going to drink a few hotel beeras.
Yeah. I don't. We still don't know what like the outfit kind of like idea is from like the promo department. I'm a little intrigued to see what he comes up with.
I said like the other day that we should do a masquerade, but it does seem a little orgy-like.
Yeah.
Eyes wide shut party, like.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like, I don't know, maybe they'll have some great cold cuts there. I have no idea, like in Always Sunny, but I don't know. I was thinking about just doing a turtleneck again and some silver chains.
You wanted me to dress like Joe Hendry.
What was that?
You wanted me to dress like Joe Hendry.
Could you say that one more time?
You wanted me to dress like Joe Hendry.
Say his name and he appears. I believe in Joe Hendry.
I was having trouble.
I believe in Joe
It's the full
Hendry.
version.
It wasn't in the J's. It was in the I Believe in Joe Hendry section. So
I see.
I was like, why can't I find
Yeah,
this?
Joe Hendry is under the eye.
It was I Believe in Joe Hendry is what the sound drop is called. And
I'm pissed now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh man. No, I'm excited.
So blue button down, white pants. You
white
know,
pants, blue button down.
Yeah.
Why not? You got the
Yeah.
blonde hair for it. You could do it.
Burst through walls. I'm thinking about bleaching my hair again for Banff, so we'll see.
That's not the only thing you're thinking of bleaching. Sam, what are you going to be
Shut the
wearing?
fuck up.
What are you going to be wearing?
That was
Sam?
my secret. I told you in confidence.
I can't wait to
chaos.
follow that up.
This is chaos.
Sam, what are you bleaching for Banff?
Oh my goodness.
My
That's our new
memory with
segment,
all my
bleaching for
beers.
Banff.
All my beers at the weekend. No, I don't really have a plan yet. It's tough because like for me as like the digital guy, I have to like wear something that's like
Mocap?
mocap.
With all the balls on the shoe. Sam, great outfit, man.
It's the digital guy with a mocap. Yeah. I'll probably just end up wearing like some sort of band merch and just wearing that because it sucks to like take video in like a dress shirt.
Yeah.
You
You
know.
wore jeans and a dress shirt
Dreams.
last year. Dreams.
Yeah.
That's what we
dress
called
shirt
the
jean
outfit.
combo.
Dreams.
It's like a button
Yeah,
up that
yeah.
extends down your leg.
Yeah. Sam was
It's denim.
business casual.
Just a jumper.
Yeah.
I'm
it's
getting very excited for it. I saw that they have a sauna and a hot tub at this hotel. Have we been to this hotel before?
I don't think so. Not for one weekend only.
We have though. Like I know it's been at
well,
the
like not
Ptarmigan.
not us.
That's
But,
what I
but
thought, yeah.
X has, yes.
I stayed at the Ptarmigan Inn for band camp in grade 8. And it's a nice hotel. So everybody's going to have a good time. That was nice.
Anyways, I'm getting really excited for that. You can go register up at x929.ca. You still got some time.
Shout out to our sponsor of the big event and this podcast, Adult Source.
Goodies
Adult
for
Source.
grown-ups.
More than just wall-to-wall video, 100% Canadian owned as well. And, I think they're going to have some goodie bags there and promote some safe sexual health.
So put good use of them.
It's kind of like the Olympic Village is what I say. I saw Beckler and Shauna talking about how, you might find the love of your life at one weekend only.
I've already found the love of my life. And he's
And-
in this room.
Wow. Beer.
Beer. Beer.
What did you guys think of that beer, speaking of it? Because we're about done the podcast. Because
And about done these beers.
I don't know if you know this, that interview was about 22 minutes or 20-ish minutes. So we're at our time.
Yeah. Good beer.
Yeah, pretty good.
I still don't know what wattle seed is, but we're drinking it.
Amateur hour. I have a million wattle seeds at home.
I wish I taste more maple syrup.
I wish I tasted more wattle seed.
Well, the wattle seed is coming through very hard right now. It's tough. Anyways, thanks for listening to the podcast. Thanks for submitting your dinosaur questions. And hopefully we see you at one weekend only. And don't forget about the Royal Tyrrell Museum's Silent Disco Night. You can get your tickets. We also have a link for that in the write-up of this podcast. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
You've been listening to After Hours with Mariah and Ty.
Powered by Adult Source. Goodies for grown-ups. 100% Canadian owned.
Don't forget to subscribe to this podcast and have the new episode of After Hours with Mariah and Ty downloaded weekly to whatever device you use.